Some people seem born lucky. Everything they touch turns out right. Whatever they do ends in success. Everything that comes their way is pure gain. All their geese turn out to be swans. Every card they play wins. No matter how you toss them, they always land on their feet like a cat and just keep going faster. The world might not see them the same way they see themselves. But what do they care? What does the world know anyway? One such lucky fellow was Hans, a neighbor of ours. For 7 long years, Hans had worked faithfully for his master. One day he said, "Master, my time is up. I need to go back home and visit my poor mother. Please pay me my wages and let me go." His master said, "Hans, you've been a loyal and good servant. You deserve a fair reward." So he gave Hans a lump of silver as big as his head. Hans took out his handkerchief, wrapped the silver in it, tossed it over his shoulder, and set off down the road toward home. He walked slowly, dragging his feet a bit, when he saw a man riding cheerfully along on a fine horse. "Ah?" Hans said out loud. "Riding a horse must be amazing. He looks so comfortable, like he's just sitting by the fireplace at home. He doesn't trip over rocks, doesn't wear out his shoes, and gets along so easily." He hadn't spoken that quietly, and the rider overheard. "Well then, my friend," he called, "why are you walking?" "Oh," said Hans, "I'm carrying this heavy lump of silver. Sure, it's valuable, but it weighs so much I can barely hold my head up, and it's really hurting my shoulder." "How about we trade?" said the rider. "I'll give you my horse, and you give me your silver. That'll save you the trouble of carrying that heavy thing around." "With all my heart," said Hans. "But since you're being so generous, I should warn you. It won't be easy lugging that silver along." The rider laughed, got down, took the silver, helped Hans onto the horse, handed him the reins and the whip, and said, "If you want him to go faster, just smack your lips and yell, 'Chip!'" Hans was thrilled. He sat tall in the saddle, puffed out his chest, turned out his toes, cracked the whip, and trotted off happily, whistling and singing, "No worries, no sorrow. Forget tomorrow. We'll laugh and we'll play. Hip, hip, hooray." After a while, Hans wanted to pick up the pace, so he smacked his lips and shouted, "Jip!" The horse took off at full gallop, and before Hans knew what was happening, he was thrown off and landed flat on his back by the side of the road. The horse would have run off if a shepherd walking by with a cow hadn't caught it. Hans got to his feet, dazed and sore, and said to the shepherd, "Riding's no fun when you end up with a beast like that, tossing you around and nearly breaking your neck. I've had enough of that. I think I'd rather have your cow than that flashy troublemaker. Just look at my coat, ruined in this muddy puddle. And it stinks, too. But if I had your cow, I could walk peacefully behind her, enjoy her company, and have milk, butter, and cheese every day. What I'd give to have such a prize." "Well," said the shepherd, "if you like her that much, I'll trade you the cow for your horse. I enjoy helping out a neighbor, even if I lose out a little." "Deal," cried Hans, smiling. "What a kind soul you are," he thought to himself. The shepherd hopped on the horse, wished Hans well, and rode off. Hans dusted off his coat, wiped his hands and face, took a short rest, then started walking slowly behind the cow, feeling lucky again. Even if all I have is a piece of bread, I can always eat it with butter or cheese. And if I'm thirsty, I'll just milk the cow. What more could I want? When he reached an inn, he stopped, ate the bread, and used his last coin to buy a glass of beer. After resting, he continued on, herding his cow toward his mother's village. But as the sun rose higher, the heat became intense. The road stretched over a wide plain that would take over an hour to cross. Soon Hans was so hot and thirsty, his tongue stuck to the roof of his mouth. No problem, he thought. I'll just milk my cow. He tied her to a tree stump and held out his leather cap, but not a single drop came out. Who would have thought the cow, who was supposed to give him milk, butter, and cheese, was completely dry? Hans hadn't thought to check that. As he clumsily tried again, the cow grew irritated and gave him such a sharp kick to the head that he dropped to the ground, knocked out cold. Thankfully, a butcher passed by, pushing a pig in a wheelbarrow. "What happened to you?" he asked, helping Hans up. Hans explained his troubles, how he'd been thirsty and tried to milk his cow, but she was dry. The butcher handed him a flask of ale. "Here, drink this. Your cow's no good. She's old and only fit for slaughter." "Oh no," cried Hans. "What a rotten trick. Trading a good horse for a useless old cow. And even if I slaughter her, I can't stand cow meat. It's too tough. But a pig like yours, that's something. You can make sausages at least." "Well," said the butcher, "I don't like to say no when I can do someone a good turn. I'll trade my pig for your cow." "Bless you for your kindness," said Hans, happily handing over the cow and taking the pig by the string tied to its leg. Off he went again, thinking everything was finally going his way. Sure, he'd had a few setbacks, but now he was back on top. With a fat pig as his new travel buddy, what could go wrong? Soon he met a farmer carrying a plump white goose. The farmer asked the time, and they got talking. Hans proudly told him how lucky he'd been, trading one thing after another, and how everything always seemed to turn out right. The farmer listened, then said, "Feel this goose? It's heavy, right? And it's only 8 weeks old. Whoever eats it will find it full of fat. It's been well fed." "You're right," said Hans, weighing it in his hand. "But my pig's no lightweight either." The farmer's face changed, and he lowered his voice. "Listen," he said. "You seem like a decent guy, so I'll be honest. That pig might land you in trouble. I just came from a village where the squire's pig was stolen. When I saw yours, I got worried. If this pig is the squire's and they catch you, you could be in real trouble. At the very least, they'll toss you in the horse pond. Can you swim?" Hans turned pale. "Please help me," he begged. "I don't know where this pig came from. It could be the squire's for all I know. You know this area better than I do. Take the pig and give me the goose." "Well," said the farmer, "giving up a fat goose for a pig isn't something most people would do. But I won't be too hard on you, since you're in a bind." He took the string, led the pig away down a side road, and Hans continued on his way, carefree again. That fellow's the one who's been tricked, thought Hans. I don't care whose pig it was. It helped me get a goose. First I'll have a roast, then I'll save the fat for cooking for months, and those beautiful white feathers will go into my pillow. I'll sleep like a baby. My mother will be so happy. Forget the pig. A fat goose is way better. As he walked into the next village, he saw a man sharpening scissors with a grinding wheel, singing, "Over hill, over field, so free I roam. With light work and good meals, the road is my home. So cheerful, so bright. Who's happier than me?" Hans watched for a bit and finally said, "You must be doing well, Master Grinder. You look so cheerful." "Yes," said the grinder. "It's a golden trade. A good grinder always finds money in his pocket. But tell me, where'd you get that fine goose?" "I traded a pig for it." "And the pig?" "I swapped a cow for it." "And the cow?" "I gave a horse for it." "And the horse?" "I traded it for a big lump of silver." "And the silver?" "I earned that from 7 years of hard work." "You have thrived quite well so far," said the grinder. "Now if you could only manage to get your hands on something like a grindstone, you'd have everything you need. You could earn money whenever you wanted. Just look at this one. It's a bit worn down, but still does the job. I wouldn't mind letting you have it in exchange for that goose. What do you say?" "Well," Hans said, thinking it over, "if I can make money with it every day, then I won't ever have to worry about anything again. You've got yourself a deal." So the grinder handed over a common rough stone that was lying nearby, saying, "This is an excellent stone. If you use it properly, you can even sharpen something as dull and useless as an old nail and make it sharp enough to cut." Hans took the stone and went his way with a light heart. His eyes sparkled for joy, and he said to himself, "Surely I must have been born in a lucky hour. Everything I could want or wish for comes of itself. People are so kind. They seem to really think I do them a favor by letting them make me rich and giving me good bargains." Meantime, he began to be tired and hungry too, for he had given away his last penny in his joy at getting the cow. Besides, the grindstone started to feel heavy like a mountain. His arms ached and sweat was pouring down his face. He stopped by a river to take a drink and rest. So he laid the stone carefully by his side on the bank. But as he stooped down to drink, he forgot it, pushed it a little, and down it rolled, plump into the stream. For a while he watched it sinking in the deep, clear water, then sprang up and danced for joy, and again fell upon his knees and thanked heaven, with tears in his eyes, for its kindness in taking away his only plague, the ugly, heavy stone. "How happy am I?" he cried. "Nobody was ever so lucky as me." Then he got up with a light heart, free from all his troubles, and walked on till he reached his mother's house, and told her how very easy the road to good luck was.